Okay, so this is Metal Marines. It's a real-time strategy video game developed by Namco for both the SNES and for MS-DOS 3.1 PCs. It came to the Virtual Console on the Wii, but as I already had the cart, I didn't really pay much attention to it. I do know the SNES version came out in the UK under the title of Metal Marines and in Japan under the name Militia. The game's set in the year 2117, and you lead a military force whose main unit of combat is known as Metal Marines, which are basically 50-foot tall mechas. You think Robotron, Gundam, that sort of thing. The game came into my life for a very simple reason originally, and that was because of the sales which used to happen in-game and its main rival at the time, Electronics Boutique. Now, Electronics Boutique no longer exists in this country at least, although that's a story for another day. The sales never seem to be like they are now, where prices are slashed across the board. Now, a sale back then was one company seemed to get a whole pile of one particular game, and, it'd be something that should be 40 quid, and they'd just start knocking it out at 10 or 15 or 20 pound, brand new sealed. I remember Virgin Megastore also doing this with a tennis game, more or less straight after its release. I think it was called Smash Tennis. I remember Game doing it with the Hulk, and, of course, with Metal Marines. When this would happen, nearly everyone I knew and spent time with who had a SNES would get the game, if it was even supposed to be halfway decent. Heck, sometimes I'd buy a copy and sell it to a different store for a profit, and then go back and do this again and again till word got round that this shop was doing it cheap, and the shop told me to, go do one. And when this happens, I'd just simply keep the game. I always loved games that were on sale like this, regardless of what they were, because lots of people would have them. So there's always someone at school to compare scores and progress with. Really, this game's something you'd expect to find on the PC, but not on the SNES. It is practically on its own on the system, with very little like it. Each of Metal Marine's 20 missions takes place across a pair of islands, one of them being your island, the other being your opponent's. You get given bases which you have to hide on your map, and the idea is to find and destroy your enemies' bases before they do the same to you. In this way, it's sort of a little bit like battleships. But a battleships where, as well as launching missiles, you have to launch mechs, and you build up your own anti-air missile rockets that can shoot the enemy's missiles down before they hit yours. So, I think this will give you some idea from the gameplay footage and what I've just said, what you're getting into. Now, you never actually get to access the opposing island outside of combat. There's no sending across drones to spy or taking over enemy territory. You and your opponent are limited to building in your own space, so the focus is really on getting the mix between attack and defence just right. During your turns, you'll build defensive turrets, anti-air missiles, attack missiles, and Metal Marines. You can also build dummy bases and try to hide your bases by layering trees over them, and you always gain cash at a steady rate. There's no real mining or resource management in the sort of Command and Conquered sense, so all you really need to do is decide how to spend what you have, how much will be used on defence, how much will be used on offensive unit, and energy which is required to execute an attack also builds up over time. When an attack is initiated, everything under construction stops, and whoever's being attacked can't do anything until the assault ends. This lends to a sense of urgency that's exciting. You know that you have to think fast and get what you need to do done fast. When you initiate combat, your viewpoint shifts to a top-down map. You can launch missiles or your Metal Marines. Missiles are always launched first because you can't see the enemy's map to begin with. Launching missiles is a little bit hit and miss. Some of them will land, some of them will get knocked down, but you'll begin to build an image of what they've seen, where they've been, and you'll start to think about picking at their defences and getting an idea of where they might have put their bases. The Marines can get shot out of the air, so you're really trying to blow up enough of the defences to get your big bad boy Marines onto the ground. Once they're on the ground, you can get about 60 seconds in control of them to try and blow the crud out of anything and anything within a limited area around them, in hopes of either finding a base or just wrecking the enemy's defence and attack capabilities. As far as your arsenal goes, you're stuck with the same structures and weapons available in the first mission throughout the entire game. There are no tech trees, no research and development, no improved units. You just work on your old grey matter and get better at using what you have. Personally, I love this game because it's something different compared to the kinds of things you usually find on the SNES. If you like Command and Conquer, XCOM, Civilization and that kind of game and have a SNES, I'd highly recommend this game. I'd give this game 8 giant mecha robots of death out of 10. You can buy a cart-only copy of this game for about 10 to 15 quid, and I feel it's well worth it. I paid about 10 for my current cart-only PAL copy. The annoying thing is I only paid 15 for it new and boxed and complete and sealed not long after its release. Several times, in fact, if I want to count the ones I sold on. I wish I'd brought it just once more and, put it under the bed or shoved it in a cupboard, because I can't remember how I lost my original. Maybe I traded it in. Who knows, but really the important thing is it's a game I love, I've got it back in my collection, and I can show it to everyone else and recommend it. It's a great game. Go out there and try it. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.